Is $1 million enough to retire? That's a question I'm often asked. Is the amount that I have saved enough for me to retire today? Recently, Go Banking Rates did a analysis, and they looked at the data from the 2020 Bureau of Labor Statistics for each and every state and retirees' cost of living in that state, and they tested how long $1 million would last in that state based on that information. And it ranged anywhere from 10 years and 3 months at the low side to 22 years and 8 months on the high side. So quite a wide range depending upon the state and how expensive it is to live in that state. But also tells us that given today's cost of living, $1 million is going to last about 20 years in retirement. Now, your situation could be very different. You may want to live much more frugally than they assumed, but most of the time what I see is people do want to live in that manner or at a higher level, do more travel or whatever the case may be. So the question becomes, is what you've saved enough for your retirement? And you have to answer that question by looking at some key pieces of information. Number one is, what is your lifestyle? What do you want your lifestyle to be? How do you want to live? Do you want to travel? Do you want to stay at home? Do you want to spend more money on dinner out? Do you want to give gifts? What are the things that you want to build into your retirement lifestyle? That's going to be a starting point. Then you want to know what income you have that will cover that. Do you have Social Security and pensions and teacher pension? What are the pieces of income that you're going to have that will cover that? And what is the gap that you're then going to need to cover from your assets? The third thing you need to know is how comfortable are you investing your assets? Do you want to invest them very conservatively so there's very little volatility and also a lower rate of growth? Or do you prefer to invest a bit more aggressively? Where is your comfort level? That will determine what sort of rate of return that you can earn over your retirement years. But then you also need to think about how to line up that investment plan with your income needs so that you're protected in periods of ups and downs as we go through volatile times in the economy and the market. Another thing you have to think about is your health. What is your current health? What is the health of your partner, your spouse? What is your family longevity? How long did your parents and grandparents live? How long did your spouse's parents and grandparents live? And what is your life expectancy? That's going to tell you how long you need to think about having your money last in retirement. And I'm sure it's going to be longer than that 10 years and 3 months for nearly all of you. And it could be longer than the 22 years and 8 months because we are living longer and we do have a lot of improvements to our health care that is helping us to live even longer than our parents and grandparents lived. So you've got to think through that piece of it. And then you want to think through inflation. What is inflation going to do to your income over your retirement years? And how can you structure your plan to allow you to keep up with inflation? For a very long time, we had inflation below average and even below the target that the Fed had set for inflation. But that has changed. We are now running at inflation that is higher than the Fed's target. And the longer that we run at a higher inflation, even as it's coming down, it's not back to what it used to be. It's not even back to the target yet. So the longer that we run at a higher inflation, then the more costly that your retirement will be. And that is something that you need to be planning for and monitoring as we move forward in the economy in the coming years. So you've got to think through, what do you want your retirement to look like? What income do you have that could cover that? What can your investments do for you to cover the gap? How can they keep up with inflation? And how can they last long enough to last as long as you're going to be alive based on your health and your life expectancy, so that you don't outlive your money? And you may want to think about moving to a different state if you're in one of those high cost states. Who knows? Those are things that you can think about, things that you can consider. You may want to make some adjustments to some of the things that you're doing or planning to do. But stress test your plan. Put together a plan that will show you where you're at and where you could be, and how what you have could cover the gap. That is something that we do here at Best Path Advisors. We put together a comprehensive financial plan that shows people, here's what you have today, here's the income that you needed to provide over your retirement years, here's how that income is going to be provided over your retirement years, here's what your cash flow is going to look like, and here's your probability of success of not outliving your money. As long as you're living, you will always have money that is coming in to cover your retirement expenses. And that can be tested for higher inflation and things like that. So if that is something that you're interested in, then just go to our website. You can get more information there, or reach out to us, because we would be happy to help you work through the answers to those questions so that you can be on your best path for your retirement.